Hello, my name is Lee Presser. This is my show. I speak frequently to very interesting people. Some of these conversations are so exciting, so intellectually stimulating, I thought others might like to listen in. This is the reason we started recording Conversation with Lee Presser.
Welcome to Conversation with Lee Presser. With 1,500 high-paying jobs opening expected in the manufacturing sector in Southwestern Illinois in the next 5 years, regional leaders launched a marketing and outreach initiative to link today's high school students to the career opportunities which will be available in the trades. The initiative aims to educate high school students, parents, guidance counselors, principals, and other influencers about the high-paying jobs that are available now and will continue to be available in the years to come. Some of these jobs will be with Phillips 66, SunCoke Energy, U.S. Steel, Olin, Dynegy, Progressive Recovery, Metro East Industries, Affton Chemical, ROHO Group, America's Central Port, and Wertz Welding. Here to speak about these initiatives is today's guest, Don Vichitvongsa. I'm sorry, pronounce it for me, would you?
Vichitvongsa.
Vichitvongsa. Mr. Vichitvongsa is the chairman of the Manufacturing Steering Committee for the Leadership Council Southwestern Illinois. He is also the general manager of the Granite City, Illinois operations of SunCoke Industries. During this half hour, we will discuss a path to the middle class for today's high school students. Don Vichitvongsa, welcome to Conversation.
Thank you.
So, what got you involved in this idea? I mean, you're a manager at a company. You could just go along doing your job and not be bothered with this, but all of a sudden you have reached out and you want to help young people to get into the trades. Why?
Well, absolutely. As a leader of a facility and looking across the region with other leaders in this area, the common theme and the common thread is, how do we backfill roles and responsibility in our organizations when we don't have enough folks coming in or interested in the manufacturing or skilled trades area? So you're right, in the next 5 years, between manufacturing and skilled trades, there's going to be close to 3,000 jobs open through attrition, through roles that won't be filled.
Old guys like me will be retiring finally.
Yes.
And I understand that a lot of guys have really hung in even longer because of the 2008 crash. A lot of baby boomers have stayed on the job just to recover some of the money that they lost during the crash. Is that right?
That's very true. I mean, within the next 5 years, the estimate based on the data analysis should show that most of those folks will now enter retirement.
Right.
So
These are guys that are already in their 60s now.
That's correct. That's correct.
And so what kind of jobs are they doing that you're going to be having people trained for?
Everything from manufacturing and skilled trades, from CNC operators, lab technicians.
Be specific. What's a CNC?
A machining operator, drilling press operators, from that to welders, to instrumentation technicians, to maintenance, to control room operators that we have in our facilities. So a variety of jobs that are opening up in manufacturing and the skilled trades.
And what will a control room operator actually be doing? What do they need to know to be a control room operator?
Basic math, basic skill sets of math, reading proficiency, high school diploma or equivalent is what we're looking at from a background educational standpoint. But really we're looking for folks who are safety, environmentally conscious. A lot of misconception that industry or manufacturing or the skilled trade is an unsafe workplace. I would tell you it's probably one of the safest workplaces within this region that we have.
Yes, a lot of people do think, I mean, that's why workers' compensation has become such a big issue, is that people believe that there's a lot of harm to be had in a manufacturing setting, although that's really changed over the years, hasn't it?
It has.
It's not like the sweatshops that you see in the old movies.
No, not at all. I think for the building trades, for example, I saw the statistics not quite long ago that they've worked over 2 million man-hours without a major injury. Mm-hmm. That's significant.
Yes,
That's
it
significant.
is. Yes, it is. Now, So you, in my introduction, I said that you're going around and talking with high school students,
Yes.
their parents, principals, counselors. What are you saying to these individuals?
Well, I think it's the campaign that we have is manufacture your future and craft your future. It's really aimed to go to high school students, counselors, teachers, parents, grandparents, the influencers of these young folks, to consider manufacturing and a skilled trade as a career path for them.
Mm-hmm.
Not everyone is made to build to go to a 4-year degree, and not everyone knows yet what they're going to be doing. So why not come to manufacturing or a skilled trade where you can earn a living and potentially even further on your education once you find out what you want to go do. So reaching out to these students and these counselors to change the perception that manufacturing and skilled trade is no longer that back-breaking, hammer-in-hand, shovel-in-hand work. A lot of it is much more advanced than what most people have thought about. I've been sharing with students and young folks of, do you like playing with your game system at home? Most of them says yes. Well, that's a lot of times, that's how we operate our equipment at work, is through interfaces that are like your tablets or your joysticks that we have at work.
Mm-hmm. There's a recent commercial for General Electric that has been making the rounds here at the end of 2015, in which you have a young man who's talking about, oh, I'm going to work for GE and I'm going to be programming, and he talks about programming the machines so that they can interact with each other.
Yes.
And the father is like trying to hand him a big hammer.
Yep.
And that's the joke, that the kid is not, he's not using a hammer
That's
anymore.
correct.
He's actually a programmer.
Yes.
But the people who will actually operate the machines that he's programming, that's what you're talking about, right? And their job is really more of monitoring the machine, and the computer is actually going to be doing much of the physical labor.
That's correct. But for both of those, we have opportunities in our manufacturing folks. Some folks will operate and manage the day-to-day operation. Some folks who have evolved from that into helping to program and dictate what those equipments are being done. Mm-hmm. So it's well diverse.
So what would you want the counselors to direct the young people who are still in high school to actually be doing? I guess I'm repeating myself when I say, what is the curriculum that you would like to see them pursue?
I think first off is these counselors and these teachers and young folks, go seek out for the information, go out and find, go out to these industries and the opportunity to go benchmark manufacturing. So that's the first thing, is learn what's out there. Mm-hmm. The second part is, once you know what's out there, get involved in whether it be math and science or the shops and the building shops, the fabrication shop in some of these high school welding classes, getting some of the basic industry knowledge that some high schools and most high schools are now starting to re-offer these curriculums. If you do those things, graduate from high school, you're well positioned to go into manufacturing, earning a career, or making a living and earnings that could top out as an average of $80,000 a year.
Mm-hmm. Back in the first part of the 20th century, all the way up, I think, till the 70s, maybe the 80s, there were in all the high schools shop class.
Yes.
In which people, usually boys, were learning how to work with their hands. Mm-hmm. That has, for a while, had gone away, which is what you were referring to. Mm-hmm. Now you're saying that schools are being asked to bring those classes back, only in a more updated fashion?
Some of them are. I've had the privilege of touring one of the high schools within the area, and they had a great shop. They had a CNC, which is a computer control, coordinate control machining, where it makes any part that you want. I would say this is the first generation of 3D printing, because it's a drill bit and it cuts out machines. They had Bridgeport lathes and machinery in their shop, welding booths. So not all high schools have realized that this is an important curriculum, but the ones that have realized it are bringing it back with more technology. They're working with Mastercam, AutoCAD, 3D modeling programs.
Why don't you explain to people what those programs are, what they do, and what the value of a young person learning it would be?
Well, a young person, when we talk about drawing up a diagram of what a part should look like, it's mm-hmm. mostly pen and paper and it's 2D. Well, these programs are coordinate programs where you can go in and draft up a model that's 3D, and you can rotate and view it in different angles, and then you take the output from that program, insert it into a CNC, which is a coordinate-based cutting machine, and it will cut out that product for you. So in the process of learning how to draw up and geometrically make sure the part looks correctly, they now have to input it and make sure you can produce a part. So from conception of an idea to completion of a product they can see. And along the way, and I've seen this every time I've observed an individual or a young person doing this, they will encounter problems in that process, and they solve it themselves. So their problem-solving skills comes along the process of an idea to making a full product that they can visually see.
Now, you mentioned math earlier, and a lot of young people are not getting the kind of math that is required to do this. What sort of math do these young people absolutely need to know before they move on to shop class and the junior colleges?
I think basic math, you're talking about algebra and geometry and minimal trigonometry type items. Certainly it's not the high level math of differential equation or calculus. That's a lot more than what we're saying, what we need. So just the basic math that all high schools should be offering right now.
The kids, the young people who are coming out of high school now, many of them don't have these skills, do they? I mean, they come and ask for these jobs,
Yes.
but the employers turn them down, right?
Some of them do. Some of them do turn them down merely because they don't have the equivalent proficiency that most companies are looking for. So yeah, we do see some of that. That's unfortunate, but that's the truth.
And what sort of other skills besides math are employers looking for? What do they want from an employee in this day and age?
So we talked about safety, environmentally conscious. We talk about some proficiency from high school or equivalent from high school diploma. I think the other big thing, Lee, that we need to make sure that parents, teachers, and counselors are reinforcing is working hard, attendance, come to work, be expected to work. Most people I see, some young folks get in the trap of, I'll show to work when I need to or want to, and sometimes that attendance gets them and they'll be out of a job. So I think that's the other part of it, is the commitment and the knowledge that they want to work for a living and they want to earn that living. And
stay away from drugs and alcohol.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely.
Because you're in a manufacturing environment.
That's correct.
You can't afford to be have your mind someplace else.
Absolutely, and all organizations, very few that I know of, I would say in the 98th percentile of all organizations I've come in contact with, drug testing is a regular curriculum for employment.
So in order to get the employment, you've got to be drug-free.
Absolutely.
And okay, so now let's go on to what you're doing. You're the chairman of the manufacturing committee.
Yes.
For the Leadership Council Southwestern Illinois.
Yes.
What does all that mean, and what do you do?
Okay, so Southwest Illinois Leadership Council is basically a group of leaders within the St. Clair, Madison County, and the surrounding Metro East counties, Metro East, St. Louis. There's 225 leaders of the community, leaders like myself, general managers, CEO, or owners of organizations that really are building a relationship on a foundation to better the region and the area. So that's the Leadership Council. My responsibility as the chairman of the Manufacturing Steering Committee is to bridge the gap of what we've been talking about, young folks, counselors and parents and grandparents, the influencers, with manufacturing. So this is a time that manufacturing and the skilled trades are really putting a full court press on bridging that gap and solve this problem that's not only specific to our region, but it's a nationwide issue of having folks to go in jobs it's going to be open.
Because we got a whole generation of boomers that are retiring that have the jobs today.
Very true. Very true.
Right. So, and how much time, I mean, you're a manager of a major manufacturing company.
Yes.
And so how much time can you afford to put into this?
I think it's an important subject that I'm very passionate about, along with others like Steve Stecklin, of the Madison County Board Investment Group. That it's important for us as leaders to know that we're creating a future forward. So as much time as needed, this is the time that I'm going to invest into it. So it's not been too much so far.
Now you've mentioned Dave Stecklin. He's been a guest here.
Yes.
And it's been a little while since he was here last. And it's interesting that even a couple of years ago when he was here, we were talking then about getting high school students, and that he told me that that very day that somewhere there was a welding job that was available to somebody who was qualified. But yet here we are 2 years later, and we're still having to talk students into learning something that's going to put them on a path to a middle-class job.
Yes. I think that's very true. And I think that some of that momentum that Dave has created has carried folks like myself and others in industry and manufacturing to partner up and continue that, to speak the same voice. And what Dave Stecklin is doing is he and I and the manufacturing group is forming a speaker bureau. Individual like myself, armed with information to go out and talk to schools and the community, for those who will listen, that this is a message worth listening to, that if you want a job, here's one avenue that you can have a job and have a great career in manufacturing and the skilled trades.
You're out there, you're talking to these people. What's the reaction? The real reaction when you're talking, say, to high school students. How are they reacting to you?
I think when you talk about the genre of what do we do, high school students seems to get lost. But when you talk about the opportunity of what the individual can be earning and what manufacturing and skilled trades can offer, you see folks start to sit up and become more interested.
So tell us here what it is you're saying at that moment that's getting them to sit up and listen.
So what I tell folks is, some of you may know exactly what you want to do for the rest of your life as a career, and that's great. But some of you probably haven't figured out what I like to do, and I may not know, but I like working with my hands. I like maybe working with seeing things get done. And you're wondering to yourself, if I don't go to college, what will I do? Well, what I'm offering you is an idea of manufacturing and skilled trades, where you can come out of high school and have the potential of earning anywhere from $22 to $35 an hour, starting out. A career that potentially has the potential of paying you $80,000 a year. And then, maybe in a couple of years.
Plus benefits?
Plus benefits. Benefits will be on top of that. Then if you decide, you know what, I really like what I do, and I maybe want to continue my education to become whatever, an engineer, a controls person, or a design person, some of these organizations will help you get there by paying for the majority of your education. How does that sound? Or the statistics would say that you can go to college because you could be forced to go in and get a business degree. After 4 years, have a 4-year debt, but yet you still go work at Walmart or retail or at a restaurant. Which one would you rather choose? That's the compelling message that I think parents, counselors haven't thought about. The other reaction I would tell you, Lee, is I just had the opportunity to host 11 high school counselors from 4 different high schools in 3 different counties, and we gave them a tour in coordination with Dr. Bob Diver, regional superintendent. And the counselor was very apprehensive at the very beginning. Wow, this is dirty, this might be unsafe. But after that conversation of what do we offer, what are we doing, show them the facility and how we control our facility, and what the potential earnings are that's involved, 75% of the counselors like, how do I get involved to make sure this message is coming through? Even then, they had a paradigm shift in their thinking of what manufacturing truly means.
And this is not just for boys, is it?
No, this is for all men,
Boys,
women.
girls.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Because this is not, it doesn't require lifting 60,
correct.
70, 80
That's
pounds
correct.
of metal and moving it over
That's
there.
correct.
You have machines to do that
That
for
is
you.
absolutely correct.
Like
And
you
that-
said,
and that-
you're tweaking the computer and making it go.
That was one of my goals that I talked to those 11 student counselors. 8 of them were women and 3 of them were men. And I spoke the exact same message, and they were like, how do you figure it? Women have a misconception that manufacturing is only for men, and it's not. It's for everyone. Mm-hmm. It's for everyone.
Mm-hmm. So you won these counselors over. Now, their students may or may not have a high school that has the kind of place where you can go, a good shop. Mm-hmm. I mean, not the kind of shop like from the old days. I'm talking about the ones where they have real good training booths.
Yes.
I don't know the language, but I understand that there are facilities now that are almost like workplace.
Yes. Yes.
Talk a little bit about that kind of training.
You know, I'm really excited to have met with, I'll throw it out there, Lewis and Clark Community College in Eversville, for one, is a great example where they're trying to start up, and I know SWIC has, Southwestern Illinois College is doing the same thing, is they're starting up these labs. And what's interestingly is these labs are kind of like gym membership. They talked about where a family or young folks can have a membership to this fabrication lab where you have access to welding, CNC machines, 3D printers, the program to do 3D modeling. They have all that, and it's a membership where you go in and you pay for a small subscription fee to make sure the lab can be running, and then you go in there. So if high schools don't have it or you are needing access, community college are starting to also realize that offering these type of programs, not only for the community college students, but for the community and other high school students in the area is important. So there's outlet for those type of labs that are out there.
And can high school kids, excuse me, come to the either Lewis and Clark or to SWIC and start to get credit, both high school and college, by taking some of these classes?
I think it may be individual to the community college and what the programs are and what they have to set up. But if I were to guess, I would say some of them probably does offer that ability.
They're going to at least get the high school credit.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Towards their graduation, and they might have some credit that will actually, if they step over to the junior college, it will already start them on that course.
If anything at all, they can put it on their resume to go to manufacturing, to skill trade, that I did this, I know what I'm doing from a CNC or a welding, and so that's a leverage and advantage.
Mm-hmm. In your group, are you working with the trade unions? Yes. Which ones?
All of them. The Southwestern Illinois Builder Trades, directly with Dale Stewart who leads that organization. So I've talked and have come in close contact with the majority of all the skill trades that are out there. If you name it, we've been in contact, and how manufacturing and skill trades can come together. So the campaign is really to address both of that: manufacture your future or craft your future. Mm-hmm. The skill trade crafts that are out there.
And so the trade unions, they're really interested in having these
Absolutely.
young people come in.
Absolutely, they're running in the same situation. They're in the 1,200 people range that in the next 5 years there's job openings within their group. Mm-hmm. So between manufacturing and skilled trade, close to 3,000 jobs in the next 5 years.
Right, and we're talking,
you
said, high-paid jobs.
Well paid.
Right, and
yep.
So it's worth your time, student, to actually take a look at this, as opposed to getting a philosophy degree that will not get you a high-paying job, unless you get really, really lucky, and wind up with a PhD, and then you might go work for some university.
That's correct.
But otherwise, this is a much shorter route to a decent life.
Yes.
Now, robots.
Yes.
You mentioned 3D printers, and I'm mentioning robots. There is talk in the news about, robots are just going to take all this over, and we're not going to need human beings anymore. This is nonsense for right now, isn't it?
It is.
I mean, maybe in the 22nd century, maybe in the back half of the 21st century. But for kids who are 16, 17, 18 years old today, that's not robots aren't going to take these jobs away from them.
I think robots and automation will always be in the development curve of progressing. In the 20 years I've been in manufacturing and seeing these evolvement, you still need folks who's going to take care of the robots, who's going to troubleshoot the robots when things don't go right. Robots are good, and they'll have a place in manufacturing in the future of industrial revolutions, but it's not the answer for everything. You still got to have the human presence and the people present to, one, take care, two, to interpret and troubleshoot, and three, to direct what that robot's going to be doing.
So in the last 3 minutes here, I'm going to give it to you to make your case one more time so that people understand what it is that you're trying to do and why it's of value to them, whether it be students, parents, or counselors.
Okay, I would challenge for anyone who's viewing this program to go out and seek the information that's needed. There's several places you can go get it. One of the places that is sponsored by the Manufacturing Steering Committee and the Workforce Investment Group is the www.wellpaid.org. That's a website that you can go out. There's also phone numbers that you can go out.
Yeah, we've had those on the screen during this.
So go out and seek those information, what the opportunities are. And if you don't know what manufacturing does, go out and try to see what you can learn, either through high schools or manufacturers like myself who have open houses and what have you. So those are also important. I think having a great career in manufacturing, earning a great living, while even in some cases continuing your education, is a big advantage that most people haven't tapped into. So I would challenge the students, the counselors, the teachers, the parents, the grandparents. This is a great career path. Don't discount it. College may not be cut out for everyone that we have out there. And for those who haven't figured it out, go to manufacturing. Go look at manufacturing, look at skilled trades. There's great plumbing, great electrician, great welders out there. All these roles, all these jobs are very well paid.
And they can be fun too. It's not like drudgery.
No, not at all. Not at all.
Yeah, and you mentioned also 3D printing. That's an excellent area for young people to start really looking at as well, both working on 3D printers and, if you're really smart, actually helping to develop the 3D printing industry.
Yep.
Because that's like crazy. I mean,
it's definitely exploded.
I mean, yeah. I mean, 1 year it doesn't exist, and then all of a sudden they're selling them at Best Buy.
Correct.
And these things are capable of, eventually, I understand, that you could actually print your own car out of a 3D printer.
There's been cases of that already, yes.
Yeah. So, well, I'm really, I'm glad that you've had the opportunity to come and talk to us like you've talked to these other companies. Thank you very much for being with us.
Thank you, Lee. Thank you for having me.
I appreciate your coming. Thank you.
You.
And I've been speaking to the chairman of the Manufacturing Committee for the Leadership Council Southwestern Illinois. He's here with a message for young people, those of you who are still in high school today, to your parents, grandparents, counselors, that a manufacturing track is a good, high-paying job at the end. Thank you. See you next time.